Hi, good afternoon. This is Shanika Pygott, Deputy of Operations and also Chief Jedi and the Chair of the Inclusion Council. And welcome to our final presentation from the Inclusion Council for our celebration of Women's History Month. I have with me today fellow Inclusion Council members, Latoya McGuinn, wave so everybody knows who you are, Shannon Freeman, Latasha Bethay, and Takesha Biddle. And we are so honored today to have with us the ultimate girl power flex, our CEO, Ann Lewis. Hi, Ann.
Hey guys, if it's an honor to y'all, it is actually quite extraordinary to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. So at this time, we're going to get into our presentation, our little one-on-one time with the CEO. So take it away, Tasha.
Hi, Ms. Ann. I wanted to say thank you again for being our speaker at the South Carolina Community Health Worker Association first quarter meeting. It was such an honor and a privilege to hear you. You empowered the force, the nation of community health workers. So with that being said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at CareSouth?
Sure, and thank you. I said when I began that presentation at the Community Health Worker Association, that is the only keynote I've ever done. So I was kind of awed by it, okay, a keynote. Now, how do people do keynotes? Because it's not quite like a slide presentation. So it really meant a lot to me. By the way, for the rest of y'all, the theme around that was why. And I'm going to wrap that into the question that you asked me is what I do at CareSouth. I am the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of CareSouth Carolina. I've been the Chief Executive Officer of CareSouth Carolina for 40 years. When it began, it was only 4 employees. I was one of them back in 1980, back in Society Hill. Now it's quite a bit different. And the keynote that I did at the Community Health Worker Association meeting, like I said, was built around why, because I get that a lot. Why have you been there 40 years? Couldn't you find another job? And that really winds into what I do, because it is linked to why I do it. I've spoken to this many a time, but I like the fact that we frequently have to pause and we have to take a deep breath, especially over these past 2 years when COVID challenged us to our toes, and say, why are we doing this? Why am I doing it? I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 40 years. So I kind of understand it. It's the why that I'm doing it that's kept me going, because, well, kind of simply put, I really believe I'm doing God's will, making a difference to people who would not have any other place to turn for their health, their well-being. We do so much beyond just being medical providers: behavioral health, pain management, opioid addiction, dental, chiropractic, the list goes on and on. But that's basically what I do and why I do it.
Well, Ann, can you tell us what motivated you to go into leadership in healthcare? What encouraged you to get into leadership, the leadership part of it?
So I'm really going to date myself now. I was born in South Carolina. I was born in Dillon, actually, and went to school in South Carolina. But the older you get and the wanderlust takes hold, and I was young, and South Carolina just didn't look like the place to be. So I went to California, the other side of the nation, literally. And I wanted to do something different. You know, when you're young in your 20s, you know, you feel like the whole world's ahead of you, and South Carolina doesn't have anything for me, you know. I went, I had a background at that point in doing some medically related things. Actually, medical records was one of the first. And I got my first job. And in that first job, I had a mentor. Her name was Joyce Denstedt. It's been over 40 years, but I will never forget this woman. And she encouraged me. She picked me out. This was a administrative group that managed various healthcare facilities. And she said that she was a licensed skilled nursing administrator. And she said, there is not hardly any of us women in California, mind you, California, that are women. And I think you can do it. And it was hard. It was not easy. I'd never done anything like that. The examination was both practical and written. She guided me through it, and I became what I ultimately found out actually to be the second female licensed skilled nursing administrator in California. And that opened the door. And I walked right through it.
What was your first role in leadership?
That
Was that role?
That was it. That was it.
And what challenges do you face as a woman in leadership?
How to sum up 50 some odd years in a brief answer to that. It ain't easy. Simply put, y'all know that. You're all women here. We're women talking to women. You know, we and I have faced what I would call skepticism. You know, that we can really do it, that we can do it as good as our counterpart men, that we're smart enough, good enough, blah blah blah. And you know, we don't get paid as much, simply put. We don't have the doors open to us. We don't have those little golfing buddies. I've never played golf. I don't mean that against any women that do by any means, but I just have never played golf. So it's like trying to climb up a ladder that's every rung is greased and greasy.
Wow.
And you kind of touched on this just a few minutes ago too, about your mentor in leadership. So that was one of my questions. Who was your female role model or your mentor? Would it be that same person that you mentioned earlier, or, you know, is there somebody that might have inspired you as a little girl that kind of made you say, you know, I want to grow up and do big things? Or would you just account it all to the lady that you met in California?
That is a very, very good question, and one to which I hadn't given a lot of thought, but I am now. Yes, Joyce Denstedt was definitely kind of a mentor in a leadership role, but I'll tell you, my grandmother Lewis on my dad's side was from Olanta, you know, south of Florence. And you know, I can remember her from even an early age that, I mean, she literally rocked me in a rocking chair, and she would sing these little songs to me that always had some phrase in it that you can be anything you want to be. You're going to be perfect. You're going to be this. You're going to be, so I would really have to credit Grandmama Lewis.
Okay. And what is your vision for CareSouth when it comes to diversity and inclusion?
You know, I think it's way past time that justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion rose to the top of our efforts, our strategies, our processes, everything. And frankly, honestly, I feel personally guilty on that. It shouldn't have taken this long. It really shouldn't. It's way past time, and we really have to work harder than we ever thought we would have to work. We have to come out of boxes, comfort levels that we probably never dreamed we would have to. We have to confront things that make a lot of people squirm. I talked in a recent conference, well, it was not a conference actually, it was a work group about white privilege, and I could feel the audience squirming. You know, it's, the vision would be that this would become such a foundation of who we are at CareSouth that we don't even have to think about it.
Right.
That it's just who we are. We ain't there yet, but we're gonna get there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
I feel like the Inclusion Council was a good step in that direction. I do appreciate you, allowing us to form this council and do the work that we're doing. So that speaks volumes. I can say on my behalf, yes, ma'am.
That's good to hear. It's it should have been 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, but we're here now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Here now, we've got work to do. We've got some great things coming up in the future. So, and we're looking forward to getting it embedded in our strategic plan. We're excited about some of that work too coming forth. We've already been brainstorming some of that. So, wow. So just a little quick, personal questions, I'm gonna call it lightning round questions.
Yeah.
Just a little known facts about Ann. So what's your favorite color?
Bread.
You're Delta. Okay. Favorite flower.
That's an empowering color. That's a strong color.
Strong color.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Favorite flower.
Daisies.
Wow. Your favorite TV show.
Okay. I'm gonna reveal this, and I don't want any blowback. Okay. My favorite TV show is, it's off now, Supernatural.
My husband loves that show.
Supernatural. I don't want to, for entertainment, I don't want to have to think deep, think hard. I've done all that all day. I don't want to have to, get meaningful or all of that. I want some out of the box,
Yes, ma'am.
Zombies are fine, Supernatural's fine.
Oh, so you like spooky stuff?
Yeah, really, really freaky stuff.
Me too, Ann. Me too.
I know. I have never told anybody around here that.
It's okay.
The world is gonna know.
Hey, ladies, you see, we got to watch Ann and LaToya now.
I love American Horror Story. And American Horror Story, I love that show.
We got both
Yes.
of them.
American Horror Story.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That is funny. That's funny. So your favorite pastime?
A few years ago, it would have been horseback riding, but I outlived my horses. And now I'm an old lady who needs to ride a horse that is completely dead broke, and I can't find one. So I've resorted to reading and walking.
Okay.
Reading and walking. I've wondered about that, and that answers one of the questions about what your favorite animal is.
Horse.
It
still is.
It still
in
is.
spite of my Yorkie, who's running a close second. But anyway.
Yeah, we're glad Samson is fine. Glad
I know.
Samson is fine. Your favorite song?
I meant to write this down because I can't remember the actual title of it, but the lyrics go, I want to live forever. do y'all know, does that ring a bell with anybody?
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to do some research on it. I like listening to classic rock stuff, and
Wasn't
that
that in
kept
the-
popping up on my and I can't sit down when that song hits.
Okay.
You know, I got to find a title to it and figure out who sings it. It might be Bon Jovi, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about it.
When she said I want to live forever, I thought about Fame.
That's what I was
Fame
thinking
says
the
I want to
same. I
live
was like, is it
forever.
Yes, it does. You're right. It does.
Is that,
It
but you're
does.
right, Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. And I'm a Bon Jovi girl too, so it may
Yeah.
possibly,
Yeah.
it may
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
I started Googling to find out which one.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
I was.
know. I know.
All
I got,
Googling.
I got to figure that out.
Yep. Fame was my first thing to think of too.
Yeah.
I'm Jeanette Shanika.
I know.
So your favorite food, Ann? Your favorite food?
That would be steak.
Oh,
I'm a real carnivore.
oh. Like that filet mignon. I hear you.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, ribeye. I'm a carnivore.
Exactly. What is your favorite quote?
There are so many, and you know, I have never been more moved than I was by Amanda Gorman's lyrics at the inauguration. And actually I extracted a piece out of that particular one, the New Day lyrics, what it's called,
Mhm.
out of that, and actually have it as a closing part on my email.
Mhm.
And now I'll get the quote wrong, I'm sure I will, but essentially it goes that although we weren't ready for this, which has been the last 2 years,
Mhm.
we have been readied by it.
Mhm.
And I continually remind myself on that. We're not done with this COVID pandemic yet, but mercy has it readied us. We might not have been ready, but it has really readied us. It's taught us some things that I would have never seen coming in 40 years.
Right, right. And I probably should have asked this before I asked that, but for a couple more laughs. We know you love the line dance. I have been on the floor with you. We have danced together. What is your favorite line dance?
But you know, you can't beat the classic, the boot scooting boogie. You
Yeah.
just can't beat that. You really can't. That'll get everybody on the dance floor, or the electric slide.
Yeah.
You just can't beat those, you know. And if you know any of the steps, you can't sit them out. You know, you gotta go.
You can't. And I was thinking, I can't wait till we can have a when this all passes, so we can have a CareSouth gathering where we can dance and enjoy each other, because we've had some great times in the past, and
We sure have.
we'll have some more in the future. We definitely will. And my last question, because you've already told us how you like to relax, you like to read and walk, and I know you like to go down to the lake. What instruments do you play?
Whew. Well, let's see. I was raised playing the piano.
Mhm.
I can play a guitar. Give me enough time to warm up on it. Preferably a classic stringed one. Electric, maybe. I can play some wind, but the Indian flute is my favorite. I can play handbells. At my church choir, I am the 2 tenor handbells. That may be about it.
Oh,
Wow, I didn't know about the flute and the guitar. I knew about the handbells and the piano, but had no idea. That's awesome, Ann. That is awesome.
Music's in your soul. It
It
gets
is.
there. It's gonna come out one way or the other.
right.
It is. It's in you. It is in us, and it's universal. It's universal. It brings us all together, regardless of how we look. Or music is
Right.
a universal
That's the
language.
language. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
It is.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Miss Ann, according to the National Women's History Alliance, the theme for this month is providing, healing, and promoting hope. What does this mean for you? How do you interpret that?
I am, and frankly, all my life have been a glass half full person, not a glass half empty.
Mhm.
I am driven by optimism and hope.
Mhm.
Always. I'm just driven by it. I refuse to accept that that the failure is going to bury us, that we can't phoenix ourselves out of whatever failure it will be. I believe that hope is what energizes us.
Mhm.
It's what gives us the faith to believe that what we're doing makes a difference.
Mhm.
It is truly the foundation of, I know who I am, because looking at where we need to go, addressing the hopelessness and helplessness that sometimes feels like it's going to swallow us, we can make a difference. And we do.
Mhm.
We do.
I agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
Okay. Miss Ann, if you could tell ladies today something to inspire them, what would you tell them based off of your experiences?
That's a pretty personal thing for people to come to. And I would say, and I'm going to go back to the Community Health Worker Association, and I'm going to say, find your why. Find your purpose. It's there. It's there. Trust me, God put it there.
Mhm.
Find it.
Mhm.
Find it with all of the strength you have, and then go do it. Because I'll channel the association again. That's where the magic will happen, and it will be magic.
Mhm.
That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Ann. Thank you so much for finding your why and for following your calling, because you have followed your calling, there are 600 of us who are now living out our why and following ours. So thank you. Thank you so much for your obedience in doing so. We thank you. We thank you. So as we do say in church, if all hearts and minds are clear, we thank you again, Ann, for joining us. And thank you just for all that you've done. And anyone else have anything else they want to say before we?
Just thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate the time that you took to spend with us today.
Thank you. It was a real privilege and honor. And I learned this.
All right.
All right.
Did y'all watch the Academy Awards? That's the sign language for I love you.
It is.
Oh,
It
And
is.
yeah.
that's the one
It
for
sure
I
is.
love you a lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I love. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Y'all
Thank you,
take
ladies.
care.
Thank you all
Yes,
so
Thank
much.
you
you.
for doing what you did. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.